Welcome to today's small business training lesson. Now today we're going to be thinking about balance sheets, but more of that later. First of all, let's think about what we covered last week. So last week we introduced the idea of having different money pots for the different types of money that's coming in and going out of your business. And it's helpful to keep the different pots of money separate so that we always have the right amount of money in the business for what we need to do. And this week we're going to develop that a little further into what we call balance sheets, so that we can see at one glance all the money that is coming in and out of the business, understand what we need, where we need it, so that the business will be successful. So let's just recap first of all on our money pots. We said last week that we should have 3 money pots. First one was for the costs of running the business on a weekly basis, the weekly running costs. That would include having money for putting money aside for things like electricity, shop rent, raw materials, things like that. And then our second money pot was our long-term costs and savings. So this was for expanding the business, for things like emergencies, for replacing equipment, tools, for example, that we might need to replace as we go along. So again, if the business needs some money, then we already have money saved up in this money pot to meet that need. And then our third money pot was the personal income, or the wage, the money that you get out of the business for your own personal use, for your living expenses, food, accommodation, medical, entertainment, all of those things. That's the money that you're taking out to live off. So we're going to pick up one of the examples that we had last time. We were talking about an example of running a juice business. And I've added some figures based on some previous exercises that we've done with this. So I'm going to suggest that for a selling juice business, selling mango juice, electricity and water and mangoes and cups to sell the juice in would all cost around about 2,500 shillings every week. And they are all listed there in the weekly running costs. In terms of this example, we're suggesting that our long-term savings, that's the amount of money we put away each week, should be around 700 shillings a week. So that will be for things like emergencies, but also in this example, we want to save up for a fridge so that we can sell chilled mango juice in the future. And then again in this example, we have put aside a weekly personal wage into the weekly personal wage money pot, a figure of 200 shillings per week for things like food and drink, accommodation, transport. Now that feels a bit low to me. That was based on an example that we did previously, but you'll see by the end of this lesson that actually that comes out all right, so that's not a problem. So there's a golden rule really about running a successful business, and that is to keep your business money separate from your personal money. So in other words, don't spend the money you need to keep the business running on yourself. Now, it's very easy to say that and to think, oh yeah, that's a good idea. But in practice, it can be quite difficult because there are unexpected expenses in life. So it may be that something happens that you need money for. It may be that you have some medical expenses suddenly that you hadn't expected. And it's very tempting to take the money out of the business to pay for those. And you might actually have to do that. But the problem is, if you do take money out of the business and then you don't have money to keep the business going, your business will stop and it will collapse and it will fail, and then you won't have any future income. So as far as you can, think about keeping your money separate in the different money pots, but also this golden rule: it's important to try and keep your personal money separate from the business money. Don't spend what you need to keep the business running. So, we've been talking about money pots, which in our imagination has been tins with money in, or packets or purses or something, different places where we put the different pots of money. And we're now going to think about how we might write down our income and our expenditure on a sheet of paper. So this will help us just to get a good, clear view of all the money coming in and out of the business. So first of all, let's think about the income, the money that we're earning per week. And picking up again our example business of selling mango juice, we are suggesting that we can sell a cup of juice for 20 shillings. We think that we can probably sell about 40 cups a day, and we want to work 6 days a week. So in total, the amount of money that we will earn selling cups of mango juice would be 4,800 shillings, as you can see in the diagram on the screen. So let's think about our expenditure, the amount of money that we are paying out of the business. So in our example, we've just been talking about our income, the money we're earning. Now we're talking about the money we have to pay out. So our weekly running costs, paying for things like electricity, buying water, buying mangoes, buying cups to give the juice out in, that's going to come to a total of 2,500 shillings. In this example, we are suggesting that for our long-term costs and our savings, we want to put 700 shillings into a savings pot every week and build up a fund that we can buy a fridge in the future, or perhaps it's money there in case we have any emergencies, things that we've spoken about before, for example, fruit going bad or things being stolen, that sort of stuff. And then again in this example, we are suggesting that we can take out of the business every week a personal wage of 200 shillings. So our total expenditure, the amount of money coming out of the business every week, is 3,400 shillings, as you can see on the diagram. So good so far. Now we're going to put that together on one sheet. So I've summarised it here. So our income was 4,800 shillings and our expenditure is 3,400 shillings. Now, the first thing to notice is these two figures don't balance. The income doesn't balance the expenditure. Now, fortunately, this is a good problem to have because we've got more income than we've got expenditure. In other words, we've got more money coming into the business than we have money going out of the business. So this is a good problem to have. So we can adjust some of the figures so that our income and expenditure does balance. Now, I was saying earlier that I thought that taking a weekly personal wage of 200 shillings a week was very low out of this business. I don't think anybody can live off that amount of money every week. So the fact that our income is greater than our expenditure gives us an opportunity to change the amount of money we take out of the business as a personal wage every week. And in this example, we've increased it from 200 shillings per week to 1,600 shillings per week. And if you look at the balance sheet now, the income is now the same as the expenditure. So the two figures do balance. So assuming that we continue to earn 4,800 shillings every week by selling juice, then this balance sheet is sustainable. It will continue. The business will continue to be profitable, and also every week we will be able to save 700 shillings into our long-term costs and savings pot, so that will be there in case of an emergency in the future, or in case we wanted to expand our business, increase our business, in this case possibly by buying a fridge. And that's it. That's what a balance sheet looks like. The income is listed out and written down, and the expenditure is listed and written down. Both the income and the expenditure are added up, and we try and make the income the same as the expenditure, so the two figures balance. So for a group exercise, what I'd like you to do is to choose the example business that you were working on as a group in the last lesson, and together as a group work out what the balance sheet should be. So write down what the earnings are. If there are different types of earnings, then put those down and add them all up so that you can come to a figure which is the total weekly income for the business. And then for the expenditure, list out all the various different running costs that you have, the weekly running costs, the long-term costs and savings that you want to put away, and also what kind of a personal wage you want to take out of the business. Add all of those things up, write them down, and then you might want to change them a little bit, but make sure that the total weekly income is the same as the total weekly expenditure. In other words, they balance. And then you might have guessed this, I know you could see this coming. For an individual exercise, I'd like you to do that all over again, but this time write out a balance sheet for your own business, for the business that you would like to achieve. So again, that's it. Quite a lot this week, quite a lot of things to get your head around, so I hope that's all right. I hope you can help each other in understanding that, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.